Welcome back to the Iraqi Dinar channel, your #1 source for breaking updates and in-depth analysis on everything happening in Iraq's financial world. Today we've got an absolute bombshell. Intel legend Frank 26 just dropped what might be the biggest twist yet in the Dinar saga. For months, the word float has been echoing across the entire community. Endless debates, endless speculation. But now, everything we thought we knew might be completely flipped on its head. Frank just revealed explosive information, quoting the Central Bank of Iraq directly, and the implications are staggering. The CBI has officially stated, quote, "There is no intention to float the Iraqi dinar exchange rate." At first glance, that might sound like a delay or even bad news, but according to Frank, this isn't a setback at all. It's a calculated, master move, one that could lead to something far more powerful. A full reinstatement of the dinar at over $3. Let's unpack this because if true, it could shock the entire world. Frank's first interpretation is nothing short of brilliant. He suggests that the CBI may be running a deliberate misdirection, a strategic move designed to throw market manipulators off the trail. Think about it. Who benefits the most from knowing Iraq's monetary plans ahead of time? It's the big global speculators, the currency traders who jump in and out, exploiting volatility for their own gain. By boldly announcing that there will be no float, the CBI essentially tells these players to stand down. It clouds the water, creates confusion, and makes it nearly impossible for outsiders to front-run their moves. Then, when the world least expects it, Iraq could quietly pull the trigger and start the process on its own terms. This would not only protect the value of their currency, but ensure that it's the Iraqi people, not the speculators, who benefit from their nation's long-awaited financial comeback. But the second possibility is even more electrifying. What if the CBI actually means exactly what it said? No float, period. If that's the case, then we're looking at a direct reinstatement, often called an RI in the dinar community. This would mean Iraq skips the slow, unpredictable float phase altogether and re-enters the global financial system at a strong, fixed international rate right from day one. Frank believes that number could easily start at $3 or higher. A bold and confident move meant to restore the dinar's true value after decades of suppression. Such a reinstatement wouldn't just be an adjustment, it would be a total repricing of Iraq's economic worth on the world stage. A clear signal that Iraq is back, sovereign, and in full control of its financial destiny. Now just think about what that would mean. A float is usually the safe, textbook step. It lets market forces decide the rate over time. But bypassing it altogether? That's a statement of pure confidence. It would say Iraq's fundamentals are so strong, its reserves so deep, and its future so secure that it doesn't need anyone else to determine its value. They can simply declare it. Overnight, the dinar would transform from a speculative note into a globally respected currency backed by real assets and real confidence. It would send a thunderous message: Iraq has done the work, it has the wealth, and it's no longer asking for approval. The psychological impact alone would be monumental. Imagine the national pride when citizens see their money instantly recognized on par with some of the world's strongest currencies. Investors would take notice. International partners would take notice. It would announce to the entire globe that Iraq has officially rejoined the ranks of major economic players, not as a nation recovering from conflict, but as one stepping forward with power and purpose. Frank emphasized something crucial. His phrase, "to make up for the last 20 years." That's the heart of this entire theory. For 2 decades, the dinar has been artificially suppressed, completely disconnected from Iraq's immense wealth. The country holds some of the largest proven oil reserves on Earth, plus gas, gold, and minerals that have never been properly factored into its currency's worth. A reinstatement at $3 or even higher wouldn't be arbitrary. It would be a precise correction, a way to finally balance the economic scales after years of war and sanctions. It's essentially Iraq reclaiming its lost purchasing power in one bold move. That kind of reinstatement would immediately inject massive capital into the economy. It would fund infrastructure projects, revitalize local industries, and massively boost the standard of living. This isn't fantasy. It's basic economics. When a nation's currency finally reflects its true resource base, prosperity follows. The numbers tell the story, and Iraq's numbers are massive. There's another key reason this approach makes sense: stability. A float is unpredictable. Markets react to rumors, headlines, and speculation. A reinstatement, by contrast, is solid and predictable. It sets the value from day one, giving both citizens and foreign investors confidence in what they're dealing with. That kind of certainty is gold for foreign investment. When companies don't have to hedge against currency swings, they invest more, hire more, and stay longer. Iraq could attract billions in new infrastructure, technology, and energy investments simply because global investors know the value of the dinar won't be whipsawed by market forces. And for the Iraqi people themselves, this would be a moment of transformation. Overnight, their money, their savings, and their national identity would be restored. It would be more than just economics. It would be emotional. A direct reinstatement would mark the end of a long period of hardship and the beginning of genuine prosperity. People would spend, build, invest, and believe again. The ripple effect would be enormous. Confidence at home breeds growth, which attracts even more investment from abroad. It's a virtuous cycle, and Iraq seems to be positioning itself right at the start of it. Now, zooming out, what happens globally if Iraq reinstates at over $3? The shockwaves would be immediate. The entire Middle East financial map would change. A strong asset-backed dinar could easily become a new regional reserve currency. Other nations might even use it for trade settlements, especially for oil. And when oil starts trading in something other than US dollars, the ripple effect on the global stage would be profound. The IMF, the World Bank, and every major economy would be forced to reevaluate Iraq's role and influence. It would mark a true rebalancing of financial power. Of course, something like this can't happen overnight without massive preparation behind the scenes. A reinstatement of this magnitude requires coordination with international partners. The U.S. Treasury, the IMF, the World Bank, even the BIS. It's not done in isolation. Every reform Iraq has been pushing, from anti-money laundering measures to banking digitization to IMF compliance, could be pieces of that puzzle. The no float statement could be the final piece, signaling that the framework is complete and the system is ready for activation at a pre-agreed, globally supported value. Frank 26's analysis fits perfectly into this long-term picture. He's been saying for years that Iraq's true value lies buried under layers of politics and manipulation. And now, with the CBI's official statement, it finally feels like that value is about to be unlocked. It's not hype. It's math. It's economics. It's timing. The fundamentals have always supported a much higher rate. The only question was when, and that when might be closer than anyone imagined. For dinar holders around the world, this would be the moment they've waited years, even decades, and for. A reinstatement removes the guesswork. It's not about when to sell or when to exchange. The rate would be fixed and recognized globally right from the start. It's instant clarity, no volatility, no waiting for the market to settle. For long-term holders, this would be a life-changing event, the payoff for unwavering patience and belief in Iraq's comeback story. Inside Iraq, everything also seems to be aligning. The government's Delete the Zeros initiative is perfectly timed for a high-value reinstatement. The transition to new lower-denomination notes would roll out seamlessly alongside the new rate, simplifying transactions and giving citizens confidence in their money. The digitization of the banking system, the modernized salary structures, and the streamlined payment systems. All of these are critical infrastructure steps, and all of them are in place. The pieces fit together almost too perfectly. Even the timing of this announcement feels deliberate. Iraq is signing major trade deals, building international partnerships, and launching projects like the Development Road, a massive infrastructure initiative connecting the Middle East to Europe and Asia. Prime Minister al-Sudani's government has been laser-focused on economic reform and positioning Iraq as a serious player on the global stage. Saying no float now could mean we're ready, we've built the foundation, and we can stand on our own. That's not hesitation, that's confidence. So what comes next? According to Frank, we need to keep a close eye on the national budget. That's where the real clues will show up. If the budget suddenly lists oil revenues at a rate far different from the current program rate, that could be the confirmation we've been waiting for. Watch for final international agreements being signed, for any movement in the Delete the Zeros project, and for shifts in CBI language. Every statement now matters. Frank says we're not waiting for a slow process anymore. We're waiting for a single event, a switch to be flipped. The foundation is built, the signals are aligning, and the clock may already be ticking. If this plays out as Frank believes, this could be one of the most dramatic currency stories in modern history. Either the CBI is playing an incredibly smart chess game to protect their move, or they are preparing to unleash the dinar's full true value in one bold stroke. Either way, the game has changed. The tone, the direction, and the momentum have all shifted. Something big is clearly on the horizon. Frank's interpretation doesn't just reignite hope. It redefines the entire narrative. It turns years of waiting and uncertainty into a sense of anticipation and purpose. The CBI's statement wasn't a roadblock. It might have been the green light we didn't recognize at first glance. The next chapter of this story could be faster, bolder, and more historic than anyone expected. So stay locked in right here on the Iraqi Dinar channel. We'll keep tracking every signal, every statement, and every piece of this unfolding story in real time. Because if Iraq truly cancels the float and reinstates at $3 or higher, this won't just be financial news, it'll be history in the making. Thanks for watching, stay tuned, and as always, we'll see you in the next update.